Namaste. Welcome back, beautiful souls. Today I'm going to talk about the Chariot card. And this is part of a series of discussions regarding favorite major arcana. And I want to thank Masha, as always, for this connection that she's made with the tarot community. And oh, what a card this is. So I'm just going to get right into the cards this morning and let my thoughts wander where they will. You can see that I have a whole slew of cards on the table. And I'm sure that many of you as tarot readers have done quite a bit of reading about this card. And it's one that I do want to say, and I have said that Marielle, Tarot is the most influential place where everything sort of all came together in this card for me, because I love her abundance of references to many resources and many mythologies throughout her book, Landscapes of the Abyss. But I think it was this card that began to make all the difference with that deck in particular, and making sense of some pretty large concepts that repeat over and over and over in the tarot. So if you would like to join us on this discussion, please chime in, add your questions, add your insights, your experience, and I look forward to sharing this with you. Good morning to Lucy and Arya. Namaste. Welcome to Amelia. My name is Sadhana. If you don't know me, I'm a tarot reader and a regular here on TarotTube on YouTube. The card in the center is the Noble Tarot, one of great discussion, and I will be getting to this card in much more detail in my Marseille series in not this coming Saturday, but hopefully the following Saturday. And today is about cards, lots of cards that have been inspired by the Chariot. The symbology of the Chariot. And I just reread J.M. David's chapter on this card, and I'm reminded of the unusual perspective and how that perspective wasn't a part of, or there was a lack of perspective in art. And that wasn't developed until around the time that we see the tarot. And so the comments on the wheels, the probable immovability of the chariot, the size of the horses in proportion to the charioteer, the size of the chariot, and all of this all makes for great discussion, but I think it loses out on the most important point here, and that is the horses and the relationship of the charioteer to the horses. I should really have a Waite-Smith card on the table, so let me grab that as well. Because I think something really special happened in the Waite-Smith card that helped me with the understanding of the Chariot. And that is the inclusion of the walled city, the walled city in the background. And this card as one of movement. This is a card of change. This is a card of magic and mystery. It's a card of, it's the final card of the first septenary. If you are familiar with that concept, dividing the 22 majors from 1 to 7 in a row, and then 8 to 14 beneath it, and then 15 to 21 beneath it. The Fool isn't a part of that as a 0 card. And so this is the final card in the first septenary, and it's this tipping off place. It's a place where we haven't gone yet. We're just sort of on our way, and we're about to go. And there's so many things that are playing into the energy of this card. And as a 7 itself, this number, through many different angles, is rich with possible interpretation that aligns very nicely with the way that the card has been drawn in more traditional decks. I love also to think of this card as a 3 plus or 4 plus 3, with the 3 on top, the 4 on the bottom, the 4 being the base of the chariot, the 4 being stability and foundation, the 3 being the energy of growth, perhaps the shape of the upward facing triangle, the action of the charioteer on top of the square, and the 4 plus the 3 is just a really powerful image as a 7 in forward movement and motion, and what that 7 represents. And it's this union of 4 stability, 4 emperor, plus 3 growth and expansion, empress, and they come together in the magic of 7, and they carry us forward. I also really love this card in that it really does feel like the energy that takes us away from the 6. And if you work with the number 6 as peace and harmony and contentment, then this is a number that takes us out of our comfort zone. It takes us away from that. And it requires tremendous strength and ability and focus and drive and perhaps, a sense of that edge, that edge that we're willing to take a risk. So this is a card that is just so full of endless conversation, let's say that. The colors of the sphinxes, the colors of the horses, I find to be problematic. And I do love to teach, when I'm teaching tarot, with cards that do have horses or sphinxes, and one is black and one is white. I think it makes it a lot easier to draw the parallels through the tarot with the towers and the high priestess, to look at other places where we're looking at blacks and whites or blues and reds, things like that. So generally speaking, the blue is the color that is associated with the divine feminine energy. And you see in the central card, the blue is the color of the armor, the chest plate, except for that one line of red you see that points up towards the heart. Blue would be equivalent to the black horses, which are on our left, as the black pillar and the high priestess is on our left, and the white horse or the white sphinx or the lighter or the red, I guess the red one in the noble, is on the right. And these colors have been switched from the original, which placed the divine masculine energy, white or red, on the charioteer's right, and the black horse or the blue horse on the charioteer's left. So this idea of perspective in the tarot is really significant, and I think it's important that you understand that the active energy is indeed our right, and the receptive and intuitive energy is our left. And all of the language that goes around that, with the intuitive receptive side also being the dark side, the black side, the the evil side, and the white side being the light side, the good side, all of that. All of these conversations are absolutely brilliant, but when it all comes down to it, this is a card of how are we going to focus? How are we going to bring these two aspects of self together in order to go forward? Because we can't go forward unless we find a way to guide our whole self. And I absolutely love it when this card comes up in a reading and I have an opportunity to really work with a querent, especially if other sevens appear and or other cards with blacks and whites and masculines and feminines. And especially if this card comes up as a central card in a reading, it's so very important. Yeah. The charioteer wearing armor and as the association with Cancer, if you work with it that way, is also really brilliant because we can work with the shell of the crab, the soft inner interior, the notion of molting and seasons and that sort of thing. I love the idea also with Cancer being a cardinal water sign. We have this really interesting idea of fire as initiatory movement and water as something that is more internal. So again, we have this reflection of strength versus softness. Yeah. Okay. So the cards that are in my in my finalists. And I will briefly speak to each of these. This, let's keep zoomed in. We'll see them small and then we'll zoom out after, so you can see the art in case you don't have these decks. This one is the Thoth Journey Tarot, which is a deck that I used for a personal challenge last year. And there's something just truly amazing about this card. Hi, Saskia. Namaste. I love the way that the horses are of the mind and the eyes are closed here. There is tremendous focus and intention. I love the power, the energy in this card. There's this really interesting combination of red and blue in the artwork as well. The next card I'm about to show you is from the Harmony Tarot. And you'll see that it has number 8 on it. But in working with this deck, I have pretty much disregarded, and I probably should trim and write on the cards, the majors anyway, my own take on these cards. What I see in this card is someone who has been able to navigate the tide and leave the lighthouse. Now you may see this the opposite way as this person moving toward the lighthouse, but I see this tremendous sense of energy and skill in making it over the break, leaving the lighthouse, leaving that which has been my center for a very long time, that which I have known, and now I am on my way. And you'll see that the boat is facing going away. There we have the 2 oars, and we have the water for the receptive and the feminine energy, and we have the incredible strength and skill that is required to navigate something like this. And I've never really read with this tarot, but I have, but some of the majors are definitely worth contemplation. This is the Harmony Tarot by Harmony Nice. It's a US Games deck. Yeah. This is the Guardian Tarot, and I wanted to include a couple of cards in this series from this deck. It really is a sort of enigmatic deck. The runes are powerful symbols. There is one that is on the sword. Tyr, I believe, is the one that's on the sword. The runes are, to me, symbolic of, it's like me wearing this Vesica Piscis charm every day. It helps to center and to energize and to strengthen. And when you wear an amulet, it gives you protection as well too. And there is there's just a fearlessness in this. And you may see the luminary behind the head as the sun. You may see it as a full moon. If you see it as a full moon, you can find your Cancer connection. If you see it as a sun, you might see it as that strength that energizes my back body. And I just think there's something here that's really kind of powerful. So this is one of the cards I chose from the Guardian. This is Tarot of the She. The energy in this deck is truly extraordinary. In the major arcana in Tarot of the She, there is a She glyph on each of the majors. And here the She glyph is on the heart. And it is a message of heart-centered focus in going forward. And we have a kind of a eclipse energy behind the rider. The wings of the beast are black and white. It's this ecliptic chariot is very, very powerful. This whole deck is really powerful, but I just think this is absolutely brilliant. And I love the wide open arms, the sense of trust and embracing the forward movement of this card. This contrasts a lot with the Chariot from the Slow Tarot, which is of a different speed, yet I would say it is equally intentional. This would be the only vehicle that this person has upon which to leave. And there are various objects in the basket around the neck. There is, I would say, a guiding force in the moth. There's a lot of hidden objects here. And you can see that in the background there is either a forest fire or there's a tremendous amount of fire energy. And she is also wearing a yellow dress. So the reason, the drive, there's tremendous passion and drive behind the movement forward, and yet the vehicle chosen is one that will cause her to make good decisions, to choose careful paths. This is no mountain bike. So yeah, I think this is quite a clever one as well too. All right, you saw this one already. This is Druidcraft, and I think this is one of the decks that I could probably choose 50% of the cards to be in this series. It's just, I think it's definitely a keeper of a deck. Now, yesterday I had the beautiful Rebellion Tarot on the table, and I'm going to read from this guidebook, but I want to show you something. So I printed the PDF and spiral bound it, but what Robin Cole does in this deck is that she shows you the full painting from which the card was inspired. And because I was working with 6 yesterday, I started glancing at this painting and totally forgot about this card. And so I just want to share with you the story behind this painting. Artist. I like to share the artist. This is John Collier, circa 1897. The painting is called Lady Godiva. Lady Godiva is said to have been a 13th century English noblewoman, and she had appealed to her husband again and again to repeal the taxes he had levied against the people of Coventry, but he resolutely refused her. She eventually wore him down, and weary of her entreaties, he said that he would only grant her request if she would strip and ride her horse through the streets naked. Lady Godiva took him at his word and rode through the town clothed only in her long hair. Whether this legend is false or greatly exaggerated, it certainly speaks to struggles that sometimes willingly we submit ourselves to in order to move forward with our lives. And I just thought this was really poignant and worthy of sharing as a Chariot card. You know, sometimes the Chariot energy can be very lonely, and like I was saying in the Lighthouse card, we often leave something that is comfortable. We often leave money, we leave a home, we leave safety, we leave all that we knew, and it can be really scary, this kind of energy. It's one of those cards where sometimes I find, okay, so the querent's not quite ready. So the best course of action in a reading is, well, how can we gather? How can we gather what you need in order to embrace this? How can we prepare for this adventure? This one is from the Literary Tarot. And the novel that was chosen for this card is Treasure Island. And there are several decks that do use boats. Sometimes they are ships in the air or birds. Sometimes they are ships in the sea. And that does speak to the Cancer energy for sure. This is, I think as well too, the fact that this painting is, the figure has climbed up and wants to see forward, and the agility required, right? You got to climb up the ropes, you got to climb up the mast. He does have a telescope. There is focus. It's got a bit of a fool sort of energy to it. I like the wind in my wings in this card. And there's something also too about the mast itself. The mast being he's holding onto the mast. The mast is kind of like the stability of the chariot. So I think this is quite a good card. And I have 2 others. Of course, I have the Marielle here. You know, and I've looked at this card many a time. And again, like in the She card, we have something going on at the heart. So at the heart of the horse is the she glyph, and at the heart of the human, there's a lotus, or there's a rose. And so this is a message. This is a very passionate shift of energy. And you may see the 4 wolves as the four wheels on the vehicle, the 4 directions. 4 as a foundational number carries a lot of possible interpretations. And of course, you can read Landscapes of the Abyss, but this is a very rich description, and I would definitely worth reading again and again. And the energy of 7 also connected to the 7 classical planets. gives us almost like I was saying, there's chariot cards that have a ship that goes out into the cosmos or flying in the air. And I think that is an equally great interpretation, because we take these journeys in many kinds of transportation. Yeah. And the last one that I have, it pulled out again, was another Philarkos card. Mostly for the water energy. And I have this love of cards where it appears like we have traveled through a waterfall, and if you go through the waterfall, on the other side of the waterfall you might find your Avalon, or I don't know if you've ever had that sort of, or you've maybe seen it in a movie where you go through the waterfall and on the other side of the waterfall is something completely different, something you've never seen before. Yeah. All right. So let me zoom out and pick my top 5 Chariot cards. So Thoth Journey Tarot is for sure one of them. And Tarot of the She is one, and Marielle is one. And then if I am to pick 2 others, that will be a little challenging. So these are definitely my top 3. They are my top 3. Yeah. And then what am I going to do? It's really kind of difficult. So I don't know. I was really moved. I mean, I totally forgot about this story, and I think this is a backstory worth researching. So maybe this card. I also think, this is not assigned to Chariot energy, but what a powerful sort of story that I have built into this card. Yeah. Okay. So I have to choose one card, or so the exercise goes, from all of these. And as my fifth favorite Chariot. And that's kind of hard to do. Wow. It's really hard because they all say something different, and they all mean something pretty special to me. Yeah. Gosh, I think I'm going to go with Druidcraft. But that doesn't mean that... Oh, no, No, I need to choose 2 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, yay, I get to choose 1 more. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and choose Lady Godiva. And I think I will also do a little bit of reading and see what I can learn about this story from another perspective other than the little synopsis that was in Robin Cool's PDF. Yeah. All right, let's go to Arya's comment. My favorite Chariot card of all time is from Tarot of the Old Path. Oh, no. I have another one to share with you. Oh my goodness. It has amazing energy and movement rather than of stillness. And 4 elemental spirit horses. Ooh, okay. I will look that up. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, I do have another Chariot card to discuss. I don't have this deck any longer. This is from the Bonestone Tarot. And here we see the charioteer outside of the chariot. So we have I think it's just such a poignant story. So in a way, I mean, there's so many things we could build into this. It's almost like the strength card is standing at the front of this card, where we have her animal nature on her left and she is on the right. So she has reversed sides with her animal nature. Yeah. I may buy the mass market version of this deck, and I hope that this card is, if this card is in it, I may likely buy it when it comes back out as a mass market deck. Yeah. All right. So there you have it. Thoth Journey Tarot, Tarot of the She, Marielle, Druid Craft Tarot, and Bonestone. Thank you all for watching, and I appreciate your I wonder too, and I'm curious to research that. Yeah. Thank you all so much for your input, and I will see you tomorrow for number 8, and we are going to do justice tomorrow, not strength, as Masha is following the Tarot de Marseille order. Okay, and then I will be taking a bit of a break. And then I'll be back after about a week. Okay? Thank you all. Take good care. Namaste.